What's up, y'all? This is Corporal Church from Operation Defender, and this channel's brand spanking new. And so, if you like this kind of content, or at least the, ideas and stuff I'm trying to do, like the intent behind this channel, please subscribe and like the video, and leave comments down below just to kind of help me out. That'd be great, and I'd love to talk with you guys. So this channel will definitely live or die based off comments and sharing opinions, because that'll help me to know what to talk about that you guys find the most relevant. But speaking of which, this channel is all kind of military stuff, like politics, what to expect going in, while you're in, getting out, stereotype debunking or proofing, a whole wide range of stuff. Kind of covers, sometimes feel like almost everything. And as promised in the past, and at the beginning of this video, I mentioned if you guys have things you'd like me to talk about, let me know, and I will do my best to cover it. Today I'm recording outside because it's a little chilly in Colorado, but for the last couple of weeks we even had, it's pretty nice weather, and I wanted to be outside. So we have another account of mine. It's called Church of Caboose, where I mostly cover Destiny 2 is basically all I do on that channel. And I follow a guy over there who is named Mr. Atheist, and he runs a show called The Line, which on Sundays does call-ins. So you have a guest host. The show will be about topics, and the last week, I think it was February 7th, something like that, last Sunday, they did a topic, whose cult is it anyways? I called in, and I ended up being able to get into a wonderful conversation with them that led to a comment conversation later on, and I explained about the channel to this one parent, and she asked me if I would cover this exact topic, so I'm going to read to you her comments, and I'll also have a screenshot on screen here so you guys can see it as well. So she replies, "Great!" I'm assuming that's in reference to me telling her about the channel. "My daughter is an MP in the Army, sub-military police. There's religion all over the place, and she's an atheist too." I'm assuming that means that Lori and her daughter are both atheists. She's sick of it, but afraid to quote-unquote rock the boat. On Sundays, you can go to church or do PT. In other words, as I said to her, quote-unquote, "You're being punished for not believing bullshit. I'd love to hear you speak on that, please do." Well, here, Lori, this one is for you. So I'm missing a couple bits of information that would really help me to tailor this to the exact situation her daughter is in. One of them is your daughter in boot camp? I know the Army splits up MOS jobs to some degree from what camp you go to. Like, I believe it's infantry goes to Fort Benning and other jobs go somewhere else. Let me know if you're Army down below, so that way you can be like, yeah, did your general understanding's right, or no, that's wrong. This is just what I know from my Army friends, and this whole video is going to be based off of my experience as opposed to like study, research kinds of stuff, because that's what this calls for. And then, so boot camp, because it's a whole different ballgame with how they handle stuff in boot camp. And then the other thing I would love to know is if your daughter is not in boot camp, is she at a unit? So she's a trained, certified MP, like she's got her badge and number and all that fun stuff. She's assigned to some Army base somewhere, and she is actively working in a unit, because that is a different set of discussion. So we're going to kind of talk about the presence of religion in boot camp and what it does, as well as the presence in just general military. So for boot camp, every Sunday when I was in the Marine Corps boot camp, granted this is back in 2011, you could either go to a religious service, and they usually offered religious services for a huge range. Like, some of them surprised me. I'm pretty sure they had a Buddhist service at some point, which I guess means if you're thinking you want to be a chaplain, but maybe you belong as a Muslim or Buddhist, hey, there's stuff. Don't feel like you can't join the military because your religion isn't some typical Christian or variation of it. So I'm going to wait for that plane real quick. It's okay. I'm by Denver Airport. It happens. Okay. And then, semi-by. There's an airport. It's a municipal one. My bad. There's a municipal airport that's that way. Camera angle. That way. Anywho's okay. So boot camp services. All right. So Sundays were sometimes used as a way for drill instructors. That's what Marines call their training people. At least that's for now. They call them drill instructors. And those drill instructors would get the chance to reset, do some work that they hadn't had the chance to get done for the week. Maybe it's scheduling like what's going to happen when for the rest of the week. Maybe it's coordinating stuff with the other companies and the other series well, not excuse me, other platoons and then the other series within your training company. Who knows? It's just kind of their time to get stuff done. But if you didn't go to services, you usually had to either stay in the squad bay, doing like maybe you're cleaning the squad bay, standing fire watch or standing post. So I guess if you're not at all familiar with that, it's kind of like being a secretary sitting at a desk, only instead you're in some sort of modified combat gear and you're standing up in front of some stacked up footlockers, and you have to be in a military manner. It's more stressful to me than at least just sitting at a desk, because I've done that job before. And you also could get set around the base. They could have, drill instructors would sometimes have assignments like, hey, if you don't have people that are going to church, we could use this stuff being done, and so maybe you could get sent to, I don't know, sweep the parking lot. That wasn't an exact situation, but they were equally as stupid, which is why I used it. I just can't remember the exact situations. And so, for me, beyond the whole not wanting to do that stupid stuff, I would go to church services, partially because it would help reset me. Like, it was a nice, okay, whoo, this week's over, we made it, now we're going to start the next week. A common phrase is you go Sunday to Sunday, or you literally bigger. So chow to chow, sleep to sleep, Sunday to Sunday, and then month to month. So like Sundays are kind of like, I made it, thank God, and you got a chance to reset your brain, and I guess kind of like a mental health kind of a couple hours for a lot of people, because boot camp's stressful, and whether someone would normally want to attend religious services tends to change, at least during the Marine Corps boot camp, because there were dudes who were like, yeah, I never went to church, but I went to church in boot camp because I wanted the drill instructors off my back, which is the other reason that people would go to boot camp. You don't get yelled at, you're more or less left alone, and you're kind of in your own devices during that couple of hours. And if you do something really stupid, you will get punished for it, it would follow you. But really stupid during church services wouldn't be something like talk while standing at attention, because like you don't talk when you're at attention, dumbass. It'd be more like raped my neighbor. Like that's how extreme of stuff you had to do. So it's like finally I can kind of be myself a little bit. People aren't all constantly harping down your back. You can refer to yourself as a person. I remember being encouraged by the pastor to all of us, hey, the drill instructors aren't around. You guys can say me, myself, I, use my name. The rest of the week, and we called ourselves this recruit, these recruits. So you really kind of distance yourself as not being a part, like a person or an individual, but as part of like an organization and third person. So a lot of people that drove them nuts. And so it's really nice to have that religious sermon where you could talk about yourself as yourself and just get left alone. So that's kind of the boot camp reason. Is there anything you could do to change that? If that's the situation your daughter is in, I would say there's like a 99.999 chance that no. You can't change anything if it's the experience you're asking me about is while your daughter is in boot camp. The good news is when she gets out, it could be differently when she gets out of boot camp. So let's go for the second scenario, and what I think is probably more likely, which is why we're ending with it. You mentioned that your daughter is an MP, and either has to go to church or do PT, which for those of you that perhaps aren't familiar with military lingo, is basically workout. So that tells me, it seems maybe it's more likely your daughter is currently in a unit, she's got a rank, she's been trained and all that good stuff, and is doing her job there. So I had an MP friend, and from what I can gather from his experience and my experience of being his roommate, over to your daughter's experience, if this, if she's in the fleet or whatever the Army calls it, I'm not. It's probably she's assigned to a post, and like she happens to be working on Sundays for now, and the time frame when she's working happens to be when religious services are offered, and probably the rest of the week that she's working, she has that same or amount of time to work out and take care of herself. Because I know my friend was an MP, he said that all of their physical fitness was on themselves. Like it was up to them to keep themselves in shape. They were responsible for it. They weren't necessarily doing stuff as a unit every single week or every month or even like almost ever. And so perhaps what could be going on is your daughter's being told that, hey, this is the time frame that you would have to work out normally, but we'll hook you guys up. Since it's the military and you guys have rights and stuff, we have to afford you the opportunity to go to religious service if you desire. If you don't want to go to one, that's cool. You just have to do whatever it is you normally do the rest of the week, which in your daughter's case would probably be working out, as long as I'm making some of these assumptions right. And any MP people, let me know down below. Maybe my friend's experience was like a 1 in a million, and it's not how it works for most people. Maybe that's just how it works for Marines. I don't know. I'm just basing what my experience is and trying to pull it on over to the Army side, because I'm guessing they operate pretty similar. I'm guessing. And so like, the military really tries really hard to give people their preferences. We had one guy, he's a Mormon. Sometimes he had to work on Sundays, and he would always try to get time off to go to services. And if he couldn't, maybe he would be like, well, but if I don't go to this service, can I have this other time off so that way I can make up going to the service? Because like, to him it was making up attendance, and go a different time of the day or a different day of the week or something. And so they would work with him on stuff like that, and just kind of figure which one's the most important thing to have this guy at. And so what's probably happening is that since the religion is important to the military, they have chaplains. They have officer commissioned dudes who, to my understanding, and if you're a chaplain, it's different than we know, they follow a lot of similar military things, but their main deal is, I'm a pastor first. Like, I know we would be told, hey, if you have mental health issues, you just need to talk to somebody, you can go to the chaplain. Your girl dumps you and you just need someone to vent with, you can go to the chaplain. Like, the chaplain was supposed to be kind of like a father type figure. So the military really cares a lot about religion. If you watch old military shows like MASH and whatever, the chaplain's a very well respected person. People try to alter their behaviors around them. And people revere in the military religion pretty high up there. I mean, people were dying, and whether I just did not like it, does God exist or not? It's a conversation. But most people, at some point at least, when they're under fire, say something like, God save me. Now, whether they actually believe in that until they actually start getting shot at, or afterwards, I don't know. I don't care. I just know the military tends to have a lot of at least 5-minute Christians. We'll call it that. Maybe that could be a thing. What do you think? My dear's helping me with. What do you think? Can we start a phrase, 5-minute Christian? I don't know. Probably not. But, so that's kind of the impact of religion on the military. I suppose if your daughter wanted some options, she could, and I think this would be a really, really hard sell. She could try saying, well, I mean, if everyone else gets time off to practice their religion and their beliefs, surely I can get to put together some kind of a group thing for atheists where we meet together, because for some people the religious thing is a mental health reset. It kind of gets them back in focus on mission, or I don't know, just does them good. And I think as an atheist I deserve to have the same opportunity. Now she might have to present a lot of information. She might have to do things like find other people that are we're atheists, we show up. I don't know, but it's a long shot, but I guess you could try it. Just be like, hey, they get their time off to I guess reset how they choose. I need that time too. And that's one approach. The other approach would be, I guess you could try talking to your command and just go up, go to squad leader, fire team leader, squad leader, platoon sergeant, platoon commander, and just kind of work your way on up until it's no longer appropriate. Then you can maybe ask someone, is there something like requesting mass that would make sense? But get advice on requesting mass, because that's kind of there's a lot of implications and consequences that can come from requesting mass that vary widely from unit to unit, commander to commander, and if for some reason she feels like that's what she has to do, she should at least seek out advice from someone that she trusts about, is that actually a good idea? That's also a long shot. So I guess if she's really I want to do PT, I feel like I should get time off. The first thing to do would be to try to be like, we're atheists, we should all get time to do what everyone else is using their religious beliefs for, which is to practice what they believe and reset their heads and, practice atheism, I guess, meet in a group, and yeah.
You can edit this part out, but you could say, she could phrase it somewhere along the lines of having a secular service. So then you can include agnostics and questioning people, or
Yeah.
people who don't feel like they necessarily fit in with any of the other groups. It could just be a secular service that they could attend. They'd be kind of like a mental health thing, and maybe they could have like dodgeball or meditation, like different options and stuff that people could go and do. That would be
I'll
a
just use
like
that.
group
I won't
therapy.
edit that out in my own words. You said it perfectly, my dear. That was the voice of my wife. She doesn't want to show her face, but that's okay. I'm not sure why, but it is what it is. So there you go, Lori. There's another thing of how you could try to phrase it to maybe give yourself a better shot. Anywho, I hope this helps. If anyone has other topics they would like to try and cover, things they're curious about, whether, I don't know, we already talked about this at the beginning. Just if you got anything at all, just comment it down below. I will do my best to either do a video on it or comment to it, whichever one seems the most appropriate. Anywho, I am Corporal Church. This is Ready Beer for Clothes. I don't know, I just went for it. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and for nothing else, like the video to see more pictures and videos of me. Happy? I don't know. Goodbye. That works.